you guys, Dexstar here and welcome back to my channel. It's the 10th of April and this year the 10th of April in the Christian calendar commemorates Good Friday, which represents the day when Jesus Christ died on the cross to pay for our sins. And it is, I believe, customary for Christians, well, all Christians around the world have different ways of showing their way of sacrifice. But I believe in what I'm used to and what I'm accustomed to. During this time, we would not be consuming meat. That is why at this time, during any other Holy Weeks, every Friday, we wouldn't consume meat. So we usually do other variations like vegetables and things like that. But one thing that actually is instilled in me is Binignit that we usually eat every Good Friday. Binignit actually has different versions. If you go to the northern part of the Philippines, they would have a different version. They actually call it ginataan, or some would actually call it bilo-bilo, because there are certain ingredients that are in that particular dish. However, in the Visayas, we call it binignit, or in my local, from my hometown in Tacloban, we call it ginatan. Alright? However, it's usually the same. It's a sweet coconut stew with root crops such as sweet potatoes, taro, and cassava. Sometimes they would use cassava in it, and then they would also use bananas and sweeten it with brown sugar and give it a bit of a delicious scent of jackfruit. So, since it's Good Friday, this will be my first time to really do this and really cook binignit, and I want to share all this with you guys. So, let's go to the kitchen and cook binignit. Alright, so these are your basic ingredients for binignit. Okay. So let's start right here. These are tapioca pearls. We call them sago, but it's actually in the Philippines you can get them cooked already, and some of them would actually have different colors. However, here you get them dried and you have to rehydrate them and cook them yourself. And then you have coconut milk right here. This is the first batch, or the first set that you get out of the fresh coconut for the coconut milk. And then you have the glutinous rice soaked in water. Because a while ago I was thinking, what other words can there be? I was thinking of immersed, so I used immersed, but now it's soaked. It's soaked in water for quite some time to make it a bit more tender and to have lesser cooking time, or make it cook faster. And then you have sweet potatoes or kamote, and then you have saging na saba, which alternatively, if you don't have, you can use plantains. They would have the same texture more or less, but different sweetness. So then you have to adjust with your brown sugar. Okay? And then you have gabi. I don't know if it literally translates to taro, but it's more or less are in the same family. And then you get jackfruit or langka, because we can't get them fresh here, so we got them in a bottle. So these are your ingredients. Let's start cooking. So when you start cooking, you start it with a big pot like this. So you start it with this is the second batch of coconut milk that you get out of your fresh coconut, because the second batch would be a bit lighter, and then you add a bit more water, because this is where we're going to boil our sweet potatoes, our gabi or the taro, to make it tender. Alright. So now that our coconut milk is already boiling, it's time for us to put in the vegetables, or actually root crops, that are a bit tough and takes longer to cook. So you have the gabi, And then you also need to put your sweet potatoes. So you let them boil as well until tender, and then we'll add the rest of our ingredients later on. After around like 10-15 minutes, your root vegetables are more or less tender. You add in your glutinous rice. We've already drained the water. You add in your glutinous rice, so at least they would be cooked all together with the kamote and your gabi. Okay, take the last bit. Give it a bit of stir so they cook all together. You see how beautiful the color is now? Give it a bit of stir. Alright, so roughly around 10 minutes. This is how your mixture should look like. It'll be a bit, if you would see the viscosity of the soup or the stew now is a bit more thick than your usual water. So that means that it is already ready for your first batch of coconut milk. So we now add in the first batch of your fresh coconut milk, because this one is a bit more thicker. So we just need to cook that. Let it boil again. Now that it's already boiling, we add in our last ingredient, our favorite. That's why there's a lot of it. We add in your bananas. These are already pre-cooked because we bought them frozen. So it's just like warming them up. Just needs a bit more time. We bring it up to boil again. And then that's the time that we will sweeten our stew. And we put in our jackfruit. And we include the syrup in it. So it's your sweetener is already infused with the jackfruit scent. Then you need your mittens because the pot is really hot already. And you now stir things around. We'll try to adjust the sweetness later on, but I think the whole bottle syrup is in. I don't think we need more because you already have the sweetness from the bananas and then the syrup, and then the jackfruit also gives you a bit of that sweetness. So we'll see later on, we'll adjust, but I'm thinking this is already okay. And then last part will be, as soon as everything is done, we'll put in our tapioca pearls. So we have this much of tapioca pearls, and I think it will be too much if we add everything in. I'm not sure. No, let's put everything in. Okay. And then as soon as this is in, we will now turn off the heat because the pearls are already cooked. It just needs to be warmed up. So we'll turn off the heat and then mix everything in. And then we'll be ready to eat. Alright, so here it is, our finished product. You will see, I don't know how you call this in English, but tamo binignit giniday. So, if you call this sweet coconut stew or something, basta kay binignit ni sa amo. Perting lami ajud ani do. Let's eat now! So here you have the finished product. We call it Binignit. And we ended up actually adding around 7 tablespoons of brown sugar because it needed a bit of more sweetness. But everything is all good. All yummy. Alrighty. The whole day has been very productive for me, and my Binignit was a very big success. Yay! It was my first time really doing or actually cooking that dish, and it turned out to be good. I have another dish under my belt. Well, I hope that you're able to get a bit of an inspiration with that dish and learn something from it. And if you are able to recreate and cook them, let me know in the comments below. Or if you already did cook them before, let me know. Maybe, I mean, for sure, I've done something wrong, or maybe I can do something to improve. You can always put those comments down below and it'll be very much appreciated. And of course, if you did like this video, don't forget to click on the thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to share. You have a lovely, lovely day. Bye.